So my thoughts immediately then go towards the fact that they're not going to be watching just the games, they're going to be watching Australia.
Absolutely, yep.
And so I'd imagine that thing, and I mean, we're talking about 11 years from now, so you'd like to think that we'd have COVID and international travel sorted out by then, if I could put it that way. So there'd be travel then happening afterwards with people having seen Australia as a backdrop for the Olympics and during that time.
That's obviously the ambition. You know, the exposure that South East Queensland will get will be incredible. So we do, when we design these games, one of the main objectives is to use or showcase the city or the region and use that as a backdrop to these events, however we can do that. And that's very important when we come to design these major events.
So that's after, so that's not going to fit. And again, legacy, I guess, that happens afterwards. But yourself, Jason, I mean, a lot of the work that you do at the moment is to build local communities, if I can call it that, and businesses locally. So what about the impact that the games will have outside of those on TV and the direct impact during that time for that local economy, let's say in the Sunshine Coast, for example?
Well, the idea of the Olympics Games is actually the 14 days plus the Paralympics, right? But the reality is that it's on either side as well. The build-up to the Olympic Games is enormous, if not bigger and better than the actual day. There's no question that the singular greatest commercial Australia will ever have is when we have that opening ceremony in Brisbane. And that is beamed, like you said, to half the planet. So that will be our singular biggest point in time. But the lead up to those Olympic Games includes the next 11-year block. Now inside of that 11-year block, you'll see every major sport, every single one of them will host one of their major world championships or equivalent event in Australia to acclimatise the athletes to get ready to the Olympic Games. And we see it time and time again. That 11-year period is not only all about those other world championships. I mean, you pick a sport, let's say swimming, for example. The World Swimming Championships will probably come to Australia prior to the Olympic Games. And with that, there's all the smaller sports as well. If you include things like Greco-Roman wrestling or gymnastics or anything like that, those sports will come to Australia to, like I said, acclimatise.
Yeah, fantastic. So are there, looking at your portfolio on the Sunshine Coast around building local businesses, what other initiatives and things could those businesses be thinking, what other things are planned, I guess, from your perspective?
Yeah, so I guess this is kind of where my expertise falls into place today. It's about bringing the dollars to town. Now, there's this enormous pot of gold that's coming to Australia in 2032, if we officially get the games, of course. And I just mentioned earlier about the lead up to that we're talking in the billions and billions and billions of dollars that will be coming to this country through visitation, through advertising networks, and through just the absolute visualisation of what Australia is all about. And when these people come to town, they all spend money, every single one of them. So you talk about the, let's say there's 10,000 athletes come to Australia for the Olympics. The hanger-oners that are wrapped around that are enormous. Now what we did was we did a lot of studies in the lead up to the 2018 Commonwealth Games, and we wanted to try and work out on a smaller scale how the Sunshine Coast could capitalise on all those visitations, all those people coming to the Gold Coast and didn't even really know about the Sunshine Coast. So we put forward a number of committees and workshops and working groups to attract teams to come to the Sunshine Coast in the preamble to the Commonwealth Games. So we had 3 or 4 years, we had a lot of the major teams and full teams like Scotland of 440 athletes come and base themselves on the Sunshine Coast in those months before the Commonwealth Games, which is enormous for our region. I mean, we're really piggybacking, hijacking, if you call it, I don't know what the word is, but we're trying to get those dollars to come to our region. And the same thing will apply in the Sunshine for the southeast corner when the Olympics come to town. You know, we've got this huge, great big pot of gold coming to our region, and every little business in Australia has got to work out how they're going to capitalise and take their slice of that.
I think, Shaun, when we caught up before today, when we were at our lunch, you mentioned it's not about the circus that's coming to town, which kind of refers to what Jason's talking about there.
Absolutely. So one of the interesting aspects of hosting the games is it can provide a focus. It's not all about the event, and it can provide a focus for, be it infrastructure, development, health, education. It offers a broad opportunity to capture the long-term ambitions for a country and a region, and that's what we see the interesting opportunity with this Olympic bid.